Sarah Pierce.
David Hess.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
It's nice to have you back. It's kind of actually hard to believe. I just seen a memory pop up the other day that it's almost been a year since our last episode.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, it was a year last week, I believe.
Yeah, that seems like it was just yesterday.
And it was episode 36.
What are you on now?
You will be 114.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
That's exciting.
It is. I mean, some of them are repeat guests, but
yeah,
still.
Who have been your repeats?
Oh boy. My friend Cipriano, he's been on like 3 or 4 times. A guy named Tony Sargentopoulos, he's been on I think 3 times. And then Jeremy Hurt, he's been on 4 times.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Because don't you like sponsor?
He was sponsoring. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and actually, I went to When September Ends this last weekend, and I was supposed to do a live interview with a friend who didn't show up, and so Jeremy was there, so I interviewed him instead.
How was that event? I was sorry to miss it. I was out of town.
Unfortunately, it wasn't as good as it was last year.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I didn't go last year either. Last
year was a good
so
year.
What happened? What was it like?
This year?
Uh-huh.
This year there wasn't that much traffic.
Oh, okay. So the turnout wasn't.
Yeah, the
good.
turnout wasn't so great. There was like 10
so
vendors. There was some good performers, but yeah.
Who was the best performer?
Oh boy, me.
You?
Me? Why wouldn't I say me?
Wait, you performed?
Yeah, I did an interview.
Oh, that was okay. I got you. I thought you meant like you sang or something.
No,
like, wow,
no. You would not catch me singing.
That's pretty cool. Well, I'm bummed. They put a lot of work into that event. I could tell because I saw the flyers everywhere and I saw people talking about it. It is hard when you put your heart into planning an event and it doesn't have a good turnout. That's the one thing, like maybe one of my biggest stressors when I'm hosting an event is it's like, how's the turnout going to be? Like, because I know it can still be a good event, even if only a handful show up. But for the people who have invested their like blood, sweat, and tears and like being a vendor, performing, if your food truck's there, it's like you want people showing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I went to an event on Friday. My wife, my sister-in-law, she runs Forester Woods. It's an adult daycare center, and they had a benefits dinner, which they usually do it like every year, and it helps support the nonprofit.
Yeah.
And they had like a really good performer. She was like a semi like famous country singer. And
what's her name? Do you know? What's she look like?
She's blonde. She's from Lansing.
From Lansing?
Yeah.
Was she the one who what do you call it? Went on The Voice or whatever that show is?
That was Sadie.
Oh yeah, that's Sadie.
I believe.
Yeah. You're right.
No, it wasn't her. It was another lady who actually has a record deal. And she was really good. Like her band was really good. But the thing is it was all old people, and it was kind of the wrong crowd for that kind of music. And it was a really good event. Like there was I can't remember the food truck. There was food trucks there, like barbecue, and there was cheesecake. Everything's cheesecake that was there. And yeah, it was kind of sad because the turnout wasn't that great, but everything else was amazing.
Yeah, that's so hard. But I think I know who you're talking about though, because I think I've seen her videos.
I wish I could remember her name.
Maybe we should look it up or something. We can figure it out.
Carrie Holmes. That's what it is.
Carrie
Holmes band.
I do recognize that. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. So you're saying they brought her out for this fundraiser. You didn't think though that the crowd was really the type of crowd that would really appreciate everything she had to offer.
No.
Yeah, that's hard.
No, but my answer to that was they need younger people to come. And a way to do that would be to promote it on 517.
For sure.
That's what I said.
Yes. I mean, that's like my constant. What's the thing that like you're obsessed with? What's a good word for that?
Oh boy, an obsession, an addiction.
Yeah, that would be an easy way to. I'm constantly trying to get people to add their events to the 517 Living Calendar. I'm like, people will have an event. It's like a beautiful looking event, and I've seen them, put money into flyers and going on the news and all this stuff. And I'm like, why aren't you putting it on the calendar?
Yeah.
If someone puts their event on the 517 Living calendar at 517living.com for free, it will get featured in our week. We send out 2 emails a week featuring different events. The events also get posted or featured on WILX Studio 10. If they use the correct tags, their event will show up on not just my calendar, but multiple other calendars throughout the area. So I'm like, use this free resource, people.
Is there like a hack, like certain words? I mean, because that's one thing, like for me, it's like there's certain words that, resonate better for each episode. And it's almost like a game to try to find them. Like which words would fit best.
With the posting about it or with what?
With
just like writing out your event details?
No, like when I'm uploading an episode, like let's say to YouTube or something, there's certain tag words that work best. Is it that way with the calendar?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's always going to be benefits to if you have a really good description that's using like the keywords that, people would be searching for on Google or whatever. Like,
is there a way to know though?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you could look up. Okay, so you're saying like what words?
Like, is there a cheat sheet essentially?
I don't think there is because so I'm not like a guru with SEO and like that type of stuff, but I think every time someone thinks they know it, it's already changed. Like in my very like dumb experience with it. I mean, maybe that's just because I'm dumb and I don't get it. I'm like, wait, I thought this was working and that's not working. But I think search engines are very smart and they know when people are trying to manipulate them and they're like, yeah, you can't manipulate us. We're smarter than you. We're AI or whatever.
Yeah, it's very difficult. That's one thing I've realized. It's very difficult.
Yeah. The internet's hard.
It is. It is. It's not fair. It's not an equal playing ground.
It's not. I mean, but it does, it's not an equal playing ground, but it offers you the resources where it can be.
Yeah.
It's like endless information about how you could be a winner in SEO.
It really is. It's just a lot of work. A lot of watching videos, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you're constantly like researching stuff, right?
I dabble. I'm like not like a dedicated researcher. I tend to like just go down rabbit holes of like I'm like, this is an interesting video. This person has life-changing thoughts. I'm gonna watch them, and then YouTube will be like, you like them? What? You probably like this person. And I'll be like, okay, tell me what you have to teach me. But I do every once in a while. I'll try to be strategic. Like I'll look up, like I taught myself how to use Squarespace through like reading their information, watching their videos.
Oh, you want to make my website?
Stuff like that. No, no. I mean, like, I don't think you would want me to do that. You would want a professional to really do that. I trust myself to do my own stuff, but I would not want to be responsible for you like having your whole website crash and losing all your stuff. So I wouldn't be on your show anymore, probably.
No, you definitely would. And we would talk about what you did wrong.
Talk about how you're starting from scratch. Episode 1, we lost all my episodes.
I actually, I'm at the point where I need a website.
Yeah.
I started a business. So I formed the podcast as a business, and then I formed a DBA. So I'm going to start an apparel line too.
Really? Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
What's it? Are you able to say what it's called then?
Yeah, it's called Rising Above Apparel.
Oh, unique. Sounds familiar. That's cool. So when are you gonna have your first apparel out?
I don't know. I'm thinking. I'm hoping by November, but I want to have like a few items before I release it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Are
you gonna try to sell it all online, or are you gonna like try to put it in stores, or what?
I actually haven't really thought about that too much. I'm going to start out online, but I wouldn't mind opening up a store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stores in the Greater Lansing area that would like carry your stuff too if you weren't ready to make your own brick and mortar. Like I know, like Malik, he carries local apparel, and
I didn't know that.
There's places that like could do it for you, so you don't have to like just have your own store.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Or like Old Town General and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to look into that. I haven't even really thought about that. Right now I'm just like focused on just doing the basics
Yeah.
of setting up the business, which I already did, and then all that jazz.
That's good to think it out and have a good foundation.
Yeah. So speaking of events, you have one coming up.
I do. That is, I forgot. No, it's been on my mind for, oh man, it's been consuming my brain energy for past couple months. So this Saturday, will this air before Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
At some point tomorrow.
Okay. Perfect.
I don't know when, but.
So Saturday at
Friday.
Hawk Island Park, which is not that far from you.
No.
Are you guys going?
Yeah. I will be there.
I think I saw your SVP. Under the big pavilion, which is called the Red Tail Pavilion, and under the Peregrine Pavilion, which is a little bit south of that pavilion, there's just going to be a big community party. There'll be really good vendors, like good quality vendors, where you actually want to buy their stuff. And it'll be a good chance to, load up for the holidays, get some of your gift shopping out of the way. There will be interactive activities, good ones. I mean, there's like caricatures, good caricatures, face painting, not just like, oh, I'll turn you into a tiger, but like by a legit artist, Sarah Sanders from Contrasted Content. She's going to be doing face painting. She's amazing. I'm definitely getting my face painted.
She came to the podcast covered in paint.
Yeah, she's like a walking piece of art.
Yeah.
So she'll be there. There's going to be a lot of interactive wellness stuff, like under the Peregrine Pavilion, the Live Well the Healing Community. They are hosting that part of the event. They're going to be offering free and donation-based wellness services, like alternative health type stuff, like auricular acupuncture. There'll be meditation, community meditation, ecstatic dance.
They're going to be shoving needles in people on a picnic table?
I guess so. I mean, that's what she does. Alexis, she specializes in auricular acupuncture. So that means, and as far as I know, she's full on doing the needles, unless she's doing some type of pressure point type thing. That's when you do the acupuncture in your ears.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you should do it.
I hear it's kind of painful though, right?
Only if you need it.
Like, it can make you throw up.
I've done it before and I didn't throw up.
Okay.
But I will tell you, so the person I was doing it with, so I went with someone and they poked this part of our ear and they're like, I was fine. And the person was like, like it was incredibly painful. And they're like, that's the spot of your ear. But I think I'm remembering this right. They're like, if you have issues with your father, that would be a tough area. I think I'm remembering that right.
So you have daddy issues?
No, he did. Not me. I was fine.
Oh.
They're like,
no. Yeah, that's what I meant. That person had daddy issues.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had a terrible
wild.
relationship with their father. Like
Wow.
their father abandoned them, and so it was kind of interesting. I'm like, oh,
that is very interesting. I had Jessica. She's from the Live Well community too. I can't remember her last name.
San
yeah.
She's not in that like group anymore, but I know she is. She'll be at the event. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing henna.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. She was on the podcast and she was talking about different things and like different parts of the anatomy and what like certain things mean, like cancer in the breasts, and like that means like certain like something specific.
Oh yeah. Oh,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. There's so much about the human body that like we have yet to discover. There's
alien.
New information every day, and there's so much information out there that like we don't even know that's available. Like, we're walking around in these bodies. This is like all we have in the world, and we barely know anything about them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Some people do, but I'm like, I guess it's working. I mean, that's why I'm trying to do healthier habits, like drink this Day Swa. And my tea, this is from yesterday. Actually, it was today in my car, but I'm still drinking it. But
is it good?
Yeah, it was good. Did you know that there's a blue owl in Old Town?
I did not know that. No.
I feel like a fool because
Out of all people, you should know that.
I know it. I know it. So I was passing out flyers yesterday of going to all the coffee shops. I'm like, can I put this on your cork board? And I went to both of the blowouts that I knew of, the one in East Lansing, the one in Rio Town. And someone there was like, oh, you should go put it in the Old Town one. And I was like what? I've been saying forever, Old Town needs a coffee shop. And it's been there for like 3 years apparently.
Wow, where's it at?
It's where Bloom Roasters used to be, which is it's kind of over by like Sweet Jewelers or
Okay, so it's on the main strip.
it's on that main strip. Turner, cute little spot. Went and got some tea, and the guy there didn't know about 517 Living, so I told him.
Well, I mean that's fair then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not know about 517 Living? But it was also fair that you didn't know about that Blue Owl. So
exactly, they're not doing their job. No, I'm just kidding. They're a very successful business, but they probably just don't need me. But I made sure they know about me now.
I honestly didn't know that there was more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only knew about the one in Rio Town.
Yeah, Rio Town was like the old, legit, whatever. First
The
one.
OG.
Yeah. I was going to say OG, but then I'm like, do people say that anymore?
Yeah, I say it.
Okay. So that was the first one. Then East Lansing one's over on, is that MAC or Albert? I think Albert. Yeah.
Okay. So is that one newer then?
The one in East Lansing?
Yeah.
It's not that newer anymore. It's like, I don't know when it opened. It's been years now. Yeah.
So planning this event, how stressful is that? I would assume that putting on any event is stressful. I've never really organized anything like that other than maybe a wedding, which is very stressful.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like a wedding. It's kind of because so I had a very small wedding though, so I can't really compare to people who had like the big weddings. But I would say I don't enjoy it. But I enjoy the actual event. Like
will you actually be able to enjoy the event, or are you going to be like going around like this needs to be this way, this needs to be that way, trying to delegate certain things?
I think that I have set it up very intentionally so that pretty much every person involved in the event is someone who is professional and I can trust them to just like do their job. Like Artist Umbrella, they are hosting an open mic from 5 to 7. They know what they're doing. I don't have to be like, oh, you got to plug this in here. No, they're just going to like figure their thing out, which like I've barely heard a peep from them. They're just like, yep, we'll do it. We'll be there. And like, great. I can trust them with that. Nat Spins, you know her. She'll be doing the fire dancing at the beginning of the event from 4 to 5. And at the end of the event when it's dark so she can use the fire and stuff, that'll be from 7 to 8. She knows what she's doing. I don't have to even like, hey, make sure you're here on time. No, she'll be there. She'll get it done. All the vendors are like top quality, legit vendors, at least all the ones that are showing up. And Live Well Healing Community. Alexis, the owner of Live Well Healing Community, she's super sharp. Like I'm trying to like actually live up to her standards. She's like, I'm gonna put up white Christmas lights along the pavilion. I'm like, well, now I gotta do that with my pavilion. So like, everyone's doing their part. The food trucks, they are, they've been around. They know how to do the festival things and all that. So I would say, so this is the 4th one I've done in this format. We took a break during the pandemic, and I had changed the format a lot for the pandemic. Instead of having an in-person gathering, I said, okay, instead of 517 Living Community Night, let's do 517 Living Community Week. And throughout the whole first week of October, I think I was doing October at that point, we will have businesses in the area offer their own little special events and their own like discounts and like specials and unique experiences. And we'll have a full lineup where it's like, this is 517 Living Community Week. Here's all the businesses doing special stuff to celebrate living in the Greater Lansing area. And, it worked to a certain extent. It was like a new thing I was trying out. I kind of learned how to maybe tweak it. And this year I'm combining 517 Living Community Week with 517 Living Community Night. So we're doing the full week of like celebrating where people are offering specials on their own in their own businesses. And there's like a lineup of the information at 517week.com. And then we're also having the in-person party. But this year, I was for the first time, well, actually not for the first time. Every year after I do the party, I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I'm like completely exhausted. That was a lot of work. I didn't even make any money. I've actually lost money. And then I'll be like, the next year, I'll be like, I want to do it again. But this year, I'm like, I think that I'm going to have to like look into some ways to maybe revamp the setup, because I want to be more inclusive than I was this year. Like before I even announced that like we were having the event, I went out and kind of like cherry picked some really good vendors. And I was like, hey, I'm going to have this event. You're like one of my favorite vendors. If you want a spot, you can sign up. And that's how I really filled up a lot of the vendor spots. And then I had to, since it was a limited space, because we want to keep them under the pavilion, I had to turn a lot of people away, even though they had good stuff, even though, I would like to have them be part of the event. I'm like, how can I have a 517 Living Community event that's more inclusive? And I think that's going to be reverting back to the style I did during the pandemic, but making it bigger. So giving people enough notice so that next year, October 1st through 7th, we can have a like really good lineup of all kinds of businesses throughout the entire area hosting their own special little events in like observance of 517 Living Week. So it'll be like, oh, here's the whole lineup. Oh, this person's having a concert. This person's offering half off apparel. David has a discount code for his new apparel line.
I might.
And so I might revert to that, and then maybe have some smaller events throughout the year, because it's just kind of getting
overwhelming.
I don't want to say overwhelming, because I think it's a good challenge, but it's like, what's the best way? I think, okay, I don't want to hire anybody. B, I'm like a perfectionist, and so no one would want to work for me probably, because like I have the event set up exactly how I want it. Like I did everything how I want it, and I would have a hard time giving up that control. I would just say the best way to be inclusive is to just let the entire community kind of run the event, but not me be liable for all of it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Have you said you lose money on it. Have you considered like getting sponsors or?
Yeah. I shouldn't have even said that. Yeah. I mean, donations? The reason I lose, I know I could do like donation based. I think this year and last year, I actually like charged money for the tickets. This year, the event's free. I think for me this year, I kind of in the back of my head, I was like, this has been a long 2 years, and we had taken a break. We hadn't had the event since 2000. Was it 2019 or 2018 was the third annual? Anyway, it had been like 2 years. And I'm like, I need to bring this back, and I need to make it so that every single person can be there. I don't want people to, feel pressured to like do anything. I just want them to be able to show up. And part of me was lazy and not getting sponsors. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was completely lazy, because I'm like, I had just gone through a sales process of getting a main sponsor for 517 Living and being like,
who's the sponsor?
Collecting bids. Aqua Body Lab. It's a med spa. So if you need your Botox done or something.
Oh yeah.
I
could use that.
They actually offer not just like aesthetic stuff. They also do stuff for like healing your joints and like body pain and stuff like
really?
that. Yeah. So I think it's aquabodylab.com is their website.
Is that a plug?
Just a little one. And I may have sent them to the wrong website. I think it's aquabodylab.com. They gave me money. No. So I had just gone through to find a main sponsor, and then I'm like, I don't have the energy to go find an event sponsor, but like a more responsible business person would have done that. So yes, I could do that, but then that would just be one more thing that I got to do for the event. And it's like, some people thrive on event planning, and they probably get a high from it.
You don't?
Actually, I'm starting to get almost like I'm in like a manic mode where I'm like, I actually probably shouldn't sleep tonight so I can finish all these. And then I'm like, no, go to sleep, Sarah. I would not say I'm getting a high from the planning, but it's definitely like making me seem crazy a little bit. Like, I mean, it'll be fine. Well, it'll be a fun event. I think it helps me, like, getting to that mode kind of like desensitizes me to like, I don't know, any like personal emotions or like when I go to the event, since I have been so like crazy, like planning it, then I'm not really like self-conscious or anything because I'm just hyper focused on the event. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's good to have something to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, other than the 517 page, which takes a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah. But. Yeah. Yeah. I took a week off of the page, or let's see, I took a week off last week and we went to the UP. And I did see this doesn't happen that much anymore. But during that week when I was up in the UP and I was like kind of unplugged off the grid, so I couldn't even, sometimes I didn't, we didn't even have access to whatever phone service or internet or anything. And I was like, I actually could just be fine without doing social media anymore.
You think you could live that way?
I don't know. I mean, in that moment, but everything's always like different when you're like taking a break from something. If I was unplugged for like a year, I might feel differently.
Well, I kind of feel that way when I do podcasts, like especially if I'm doing a lot of them and I'm constantly editing and like releasing, and like I go through spurts sometimes. And during those times, like I get overwhelmed and burned out.
Yeah.
But then like I'll take like a week off or something. I'm like, man, I really miss it.
Yeah.
It's like a drive. Like, I don't know.
No, I get that for sure. I think I would probably, and same with like how you would feel probably, like I would get antsy and bored without it. Like, cause it's something that is like growth oriented. It's something that's like connecting people. And so there's a certain kind of energy to it that is, yeah, I would miss that.
Yeah.
But I would say during that week, I think that week was really helpful for me, even though like while I was there, I'm like, I should be working on stuff for the event. But it was so important because I think I really did need to unplug and just take a break from everything, because I do get too caught up in stuff and too addicted to technology. And
I understand that.
media. Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
I completely understand that. And my wife sometimes is like, can you get off your phone? I'm like, I am trying to message this person. I'm trying to promote this, or I'm trying to do this.
I know.
Like I try to justify it. Like it's for this, but it's like, sometimes it's an addiction. Mm-hmm. It's like, that could wait till later.
Exactly. That's the exact same thing that I do. And my husband's like, you're on your phone all the time. And I'm like, I have all my business stuff on my phone, okay? My e-commerce stuff, my website stuff. I'm like, I have to be on my phone. But then I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, I could probably condense this into like a work session, like when he's not here. And I could see how that would be annoying, especially since like he barely uses his email. He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have Facebook?
Nothing. He asked me to remove his phone number from his Google business listing the other day. So he has no phone number on his own business listing. He's like, no, I don't.
What's his business?
Anything. I can't tell you. He doesn't even want people to know his number. I'll say he does. He's a mechanical contractor, so he does like boiler work. He works on like plumbing, heating, AC, stuff like that. So, something everybody always needs. So
yeah. So how does he expect people to get a hold of him?
This is what he does. He has like an old school Rolodex. First of all, of like, whose number is in this card? I'm like, where did you get this thing? He just works with all his old people who knew him from years ago, and he takes referrals. So like if someone calls him and they're like, hey, I need you to work on this or that, he'll be like, how did you hear about me? And it's not like, oh, I'm going to record this for my marketing department. He's just like, suspicious. How did you hear about me? He's a good guy, I swear. But yeah.
That's funny. That's really funny. Wow.
He's just, I think in that line of work, if you're good at it, you're just always busy. And
Yeah.
he's just like slammed
Yeah.
nonstop. Doesn't matter. Like winter, it's the heaters and boilers. Summer, people want AC. Or they have the plumbing issues or, it's whatever.
Well, that's unfortunate that he won't get a new client.
What do you need done, though?
I need lots of things done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'll pass him your name.
All right.
I'm just kidding. I won't. No.
So the event starts at what time?
517 Living Community Night starts at 4 at Hawk Island County Park. That is over on Aurelius Road. Oh, wait. No. Off of Aurelius Road on Kavanaugh. And it is a beautiful park. They have is that considered like a lake or a pond? I don't know.
I would say a pond.
A body of water.
It's like man-made.
Yeah, but it's like a big pond.
It's a big pond, but it's a pond.
Yeah. And then they've got the trails. There's a dog park. This event is dog friendly, so you can bring your dogs if they're well behaved on a leash. And there's like actually a dog craft that they like put their paws and paint, and they like make little bouquets. Paw City Pet Care is are hosting that. They also are going to have dog treats, nail clipping. Buddies Pals will be there. They bring trained dogs into schools for kids to read to the dogs. It's kind of like almost like a therapy learning type thing. The vendors, okay, I'll just list real quick a couple of like the food vendors. Crystal's Kitchen. Have you ever had her on your podcast?
I have not. I don't even know what that is.
Crystal's Kitchen, it's like barbecue. And apparently very good barbecue. I don't know if it's MI vegan or Michigan vegan. They'll be there. They've got plant-based food, which is like delicious.
I've seen their pictures. It looks really good.
Yeah, you wouldn't guess that it was vegan because it's so flavorful.
Are you saying that vegan stuff isn't flavorful?
It gets that. It has that rep. I think it has that rep. But you're right. Like some vegan food is just delicious. But I think a lot of people who aren't familiar with the vegan lifestyle think it's just like eating like raw carrots and like.
Well, I mean, I think when you're a vegan, you kind of have to make it taste good,
Yeah,
right? Otherwise, you're going to be eating raw carrots.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be there. Sweet Encounter Bakery. They've got gluten-free, like delicious stuff. Abundance Cafe. She's gonna have soup, coffee, tea.
Erin.
Yeah.
She's coming on next weekend.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's got good food, man. I had her.
I love her food.
Yeah. What's the Celebrate Meridian? That's when I had her food.
Hey,
the
me
first
too.
time. Really?
Yeah, I was there too.
Did you have the wrap?
Yeah, the chicken wrap.
Yeah, it was so
and
good.
the muffin. The muffin is so good.
I didn't have the muffin. I had
you
the tea.
You need to get her muffin.
Really?
Yeah. That was funny. I just released an episode with Kendra today, who works with Erin.
Kendra. Okay.
She has a business that it's like eco-friendly containers. So you're eliminating trash and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay.
She's relatively new, like has a relatively new business.
What's the name of her business?
Takeout. So take the trash out of takeout.
Huh. I'll have to look this up.
Yeah. Yeah, follow her. She has like 0 followers. No, I'm just kidding. She has like 80 some followers.
Everybody go follow Takeout.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
she's doing good things.
Okay.
But anyway, she works with Erin, and when she was on, I was talking about her muffins. And she's like, I just had Erin's muffin today. And she had the same response you had.
I don't know why it sounded so well, obviously. I don't know. It just caught me off guard, I guess. Yeah, Erin's food is delicious. And her muffins I have not had.
They're really good because she doesn't use sugar, and she uses she uses fresh fruit to sweeten it.
Really?
And so it's not like super sweet like a real muffin, like not a real muffin, but like a muffin you'd buy
like
at the store.
Traditional ones,
right?
Yeah.
But it's sweet enough to where you're like, wow, this is
that's
good.
right up my alley. I'll have to. I think she's bringing some baked goods too, but she's primarily going to have for sure soup, tea, and coffee, and then Farmer's Daughter Delectables is going to have hot cocoa bombs, but she's also going to have hot water there, so you can drink the hot cocoa at the event. Nature's 92, she's going to have her sea moss smoothies and products there. I think think that's all the food vendors. I might be I feel like I'm missing one, but that's the main ones, yeah.
That's cool.
And then all the other ones are going to have really good stuff. There's some interactive stuff. It's just going to be entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, what is the purpose of the 517 event? The 517 Living event?
Yeah.
Like, what is the purpose? Like, the ultimate goal of it? Just to celebrate?
Just to celebrate. I think, 517 Living, everything I do with it, like work-wise, is all virtual. Like in the digital world, it's all like we have the Facebook group where we connect, the event calendars online. I have the different social media platforms. I send out emails. So I don't know, like, at what point I decided as, like, a very introverted person, like, I think I should have a big party with everybody and, like, lose money on it. I think I just thought it was important. I'm like, 517 Living's all about events. I would be kind of hypocritical to not have an event, like, at least one a year. And it also gives me, like, an understanding of the event hosts that I'm working with, like, the people who are using the calendar and the different platforms to promote their events. Being an event planner of my own events, now when I see someone, like, trying to get the word out about their event, like, I know firsthand what it's like, and I can often, like, assist them in their journey of, like, promotion. Like, hey, not only can you put it here, but you can do this. Have you tried this? And, like, I mean, I don't want to go around telling everyone what to do, but if they seem to be wanting help, I'll let them know.
No, I really appreciate that about you, because I mean, I don't host events, but anytime I, like, post something and you're like, I feel like I should reach out to him, you send me, like, a little message like, hey, do this, or you should do that. You should try this.
I do that?
Yeah, you do.
Like what?
I mean, maybe it's not you. Is there other admins?
No, but what do you mean? Like, like when you...
like, you've reached out to me a few times.
to, like, optimize your posts and
yeah.
stuff? Yeah. Okay.
Which I don't know if I listened to you or not. I might have, like, once or twice, but...
Well, I mean, maybe you tried it and it just didn't actually make much of a difference. But, yeah, I do remember, because I had put out a post that was like, hey, here's some tips of how to get more people to view your content. And then I think you reached out to me and were like... So would you recommend this, and this? And yeah, we did have a conversation where it was kind of like, try this and then see how that goes, and then tweak it this way and see if it gets better or worse, and, like, kind of A/B testing type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very difficult. I mean, like, for somebody who creates content or somebody who has an event, like, you always have to be in front of people's eyes. And
yeah,
like, for me, I don't want to swamp the 517 page. So I'm like, I'll just post once or twice on an episode, but
it's hard though, because
hard.
Like it's almost like an emotional experience trying to promote something, because you're in, like, this bubble of, like, everything you're doing, and so you feel, and not just, like, you, I mean, like,
right,
event promoter,
the creators,
yeah, and so you're like, oh, people are probably so annoyed with me. I'm posting this, like, I posted it in, like, 50 different groups. I posted it again on my page. Like, people are probably getting so sick of me, but really, in reality, people are seeing, like, 1% of what you're doing, and so they'll be like, oh, I just saw that you posted this. Thanks. And you'll be like, oh, that was, like, my 50th time posting it. I'm glad you finally saw it, But it's kind of like an emotional journey trying to promote what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was just having a conversation with Kendra about it, because when she was on the podcast, she was saying that she needs to optimize her following and she needs to get more followers and whatnot. And I was just like, you need to, like, just be relentless with your postings. Like, you need to promote yourself, because if you don't promote yourself, like, who's going to? Like, and that's one thing that, like, I struggled with, and I still kind of do, because I hate, like, talking about me. It's usually like I want to promote other people or whatever.
Right.
But you have to promote yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And eventually maybe somebody will, but here and there.
It's true.
But the thing is, like, I've had people complain about, like, all the posts I put up on social media, because I'll put it everywhere, like, at the same time.
People complain about it?
I've had people say stuff like snarky comments, and, like, I know they're complaining, but it's, like, snarky.
Oh. Yeah, that's annoying.
Because I'll put it on, like, Instagram, which automatically shares to Facebook, and then I'll share on my, like, the Rise and Above Facebook page, and then I'll share on the 517 page, and I'll share. I'll just share away.
Good.
And so the people that follow me, you know, see it like a lot. But the thing is like those people don't have a problem seeing a Walmart commercial. Like they'll scroll through Facebook and see Subway commercials all day and don't care.
Yeah, keep scrolling, man. It's like if you like, there's so many features with social media. Like if you don't want to see something, then you don't have to see it. You unfollow. Like you can unfollow discreetly. Like instead of just acting annoyed and doing nasty comments. I deleted a comment off of one of my posts today. The guy said, which this guy has posted on Facebook before, that Sarah Pierce is an effing C.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? And I saw that he had, I must have unblocked him because every once in a while I go through and like unblock all the people who I
give him a second chance.
Yeah, like clean slate. Oh, Merry Christmas. But then I saw this guy who I had unblocked. He was commenting on something about my event, and he was like, Sarah Pierce is the admin of 517 Living, and she doesn't like anybody who's not financially stable, or she thinks she's better than, and it was like all these typos and everything. And I'm just like,
is that true?
Yes. I mean, I'm only talking to you guys because you're very wealthy and, you know, obviously very cool. No, I don't know. I know why he's saying that. It's
because you blocked him.
It's because, and this is just a blanket thing that I do for everyone. I don't allow people to ask for money in the group because we have so many people in the group. There's over 40,000 people in the 517 Living group.
Yeah, which is insane, by the way. Because the last time you were on, I think we were talking about, it was like 37,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been growing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
insane.
slow growth, actually, in a year.
I don't think so.
Gained 3,000. Anyway.
How dare you do that to me? I don't have that many followers.
You know, percentage-wise. I mean... Anyway, no, he said that because he kept on trying to ask for money in the group, and I was like, dude, Jim, you can't do that. And he was like, I'm going to sue you for discrimination. And I'm like, no, it's just a rule. I can't. Everybody would like more money.
Yeah.
Everybody's struggling. Everyone has something they would like to invest in. And if everybody's asking everybody for money in the group's going to go to, you know, crap. And I sent him like a resource list. I'm like, go to the directory. I've got a resource of nonprofits. If you need some strategic help, this is the place to go. But nobody wants strategic help. They just want to ask Facebook people to send money to their GoFundMe for their, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's a good person. I think,
what if he shows up at the 517 event?
You know what? I actually started to comment on it because I was like, I'm just going to respond to him. I was like, Jim, you should come out to 517 Living Community Night, talk to me in person, and I think you'll change your mind. But then I was like, actually, I probably don't want him to come out there. That might be a problem. So I deleted it, and I just deleted his comment. I'm like, don't engage, back away.
That's a hard thing to do because back when we had the controversy on the 517 page for my content, it was so easy to want to like respond. And I did respond once, and then I'm like, delete. And I went back and deleted it. But there was a lady, I think her name was Karen, and which I found hilarious. And she was like commenting and giving me crap. And I was like, okay, Karen. And then I was like, nah, I need to delete that. I deleted it.
Good for you. Before she saw it?
I hope so. I mean, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I doubt she was awake.
Was her name really Karen, or were you just?
No, I'm pretty sure it was Karen.
So then why'd you delete okay, Karen? You were just saying okay with her name.
Yeah, because it's snarky.
You're right. No, good for you. You saw that. Good for you. I respect that. I try to follow the same like protocol with people because I've obviously, you know, got a lot of people messaging about stuff and a lot of strong opinions in the group and everything. And
it's got to be hard to manage.
It has its times where it's kind of overwhelming, but usually it's okay. And it's gotten a lot better throughout the years. I have a lot less drama throughout the years, and I think it's just because of the setup and the rules and all the things I've done to kind of just eliminate the problems and stuff. But yeah, I find it way more effective and like less time consuming, less energy consuming if you just like treat people with like calm kindness and just like don't get sucked into their hurricane of like chaos and emotion. And obviously, I mean, a lot of the messages that are negative come from people who are suffering from like mental health issues too. So I try to keep that in mind too.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate. You have a group of 40,000 people. I mean, what's the chances of 400 of them being Freaking idiot.
Oh yeah. Like
And they all
percentage wise, I mean, I've got a lot of like, yeah, dangerous psychopaths in the group probably waiting
get some
to
serial
murder
killers.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting experience when I posted that episode because it was weird for me because I didn't see anything wrong with him. Like it's just, I mean, obviously I knew he was kind of a controversial person. People don't know. I interviewed Ryan Kelly, and that was a huge mistake apparently.
Everybody cancel David.
Cancel me, please.
Turn off this episode.
But yeah,
it was I listened to it. It was, I mean, you were not like, everybody go vote for this guy. You were just like, hey, you're a person. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me about your thoughts and everything.
People weren't happy also that I didn't like grill him on certain things like the whole January 6th thing, or I didn't question some of the statements he had made on the podcast, which again, that's not what the podcast is about. It's not about me sitting here debating that person. It's about me just having a conversation. Like, tell me what you think and why you're running, and like, I don't know.
Well, and I think that, and I was thinking about that as, actually, as I was on my way over here, I was talking to someone who was at my house, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I always feel like my content is so stale when I'm talking about 517 living and stuff. Like I had even said to my husband a while ago, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do interviews anymore and like talk on, because I just feel like I am boring. And
You're definitely not. You're funny.
But with this person I was talking to, I was like, but this show's different. Like he has like interesting questions and stuff like that. And so what's the word I'm looking for? In contrast, or like
in retrospect?
Not in what's the word? In contradiction, I don't know. Different from what those people are saying. I don't know what words I'm trying to think of. I think that if they had, they expected you to like do all these things, ask questions about this, and challenge them on this. If they think that's what should be done, then they should go do their own podcast and do it exactly that way. I think that what sets a podcast apart is when you don't do what people expect you to do. You just have a conversation, talk about things that might be unexpected, that might come up, that people,
right?
Because guaranteed that person has an interview, like 100 other interviews out there where people are asking him those questions and challenging things. You're just on here talking to people,
right? Yeah. No, I mean, you're on the podcast. I did not plan any of these questions or any of these statements out. Like, it's essentially just like a free for all. Like I don't know what we're going to talk about. I might have like an idea of a question I want to ask, but aside from that, most of the conversation is not formulated. It's just we just talk.
I think
just sit down and talk.
That's the best way to do it, because that's how you really discover new things about the person that you're talking with. Is not to have some like, okay, these are the things I know about them, so I'll ask them about these things. No, you like just naturally, organically let the conversation lead itself. Yeah.
I do not regret any of that at all, because I mean, I know people that they formulate podcasts that way, which is fine. They have bullet points that they discuss, and I it's fine. It depends on what you're doing. I'm not doing that. I'm just interviewing people, and I want to talk to people. I want to have a fun conversation.
Right. I think that sometimes people do the bullet points because not every, and some people are just like want to be organized and everything, but the art of conversation isn't something that everyone is like skilled in. For some people, they can't just like fly by the seat of their pants in conversation. And also, if you're interviewing someone who is maybe like feeling like socially like awkward or like a little nervous, it could be tough to have an organic conversation if they're like, I need to pre-plan what I'm gonna say. That I could see why some people would be tempted to give them structure.
I had a girl on the podcast, and she was a very nice girl, but like I had to like fish questions out of her. I was literally like 20 minutes in, and I'm like, I don't know what else to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
And I literally said that on the podcast. I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. Like I would ask her a question, and she would answer with like one word. Like, so where are you from? From Lansing. Okay. So where'd you go to school? Like just asking basic questions.
And you've probably from doing this podcasts have actually improved your conversation skills because you've
Tremendously.
probably learned like how to get people to open up, like, and asking open-ended questions and all this stuff. Like, it's really a self-development thing you're doing here.
It really is, because when I first started the podcast, I was an idiot. Like, I actually was just talking to another guy who does a podcast. I went to this event in Chicago. It's called Roger Up, an amazing event.
I've heard of that. What is that?
I had a guy on who hosted the event. His name was Brent, and I probably shared it. But
Okay.
he's an author. He wrote a book, and he threw this event in Chicago. It's called Roger Up, and they had like ex-Navy SEALs, like Jason Redman. I don't know if you know who he is. Navy SEAL who was shot in the back of the head and then shot like 6 times. Survived, and he's a motivational speaker. And he was.
I didn't know that he was shot in the head.
Yeah, he was shot in the back of the head. The bullet came out of the front of his face, blew apart his orbital, blew apart his jaw. He had like 40 surgeries literally to reconstruct his face.
Wow.
He was shot in the hip, shot in the elbow, which shattered his elbow, and they had to put it back together, and he can't bend his arm completely.
My goodness.
This dude is a
now
beast.
he's a motivational.
He's like a motivational guy. Yeah, and he has like he's like a coach, and he has like an online program. I'm a part of his group now.
I know his name, and I know that he's in the motivational world because I feel like you and I probably listen to some of the same.
We probably do.
Same, because like you have I've seen like your posts about like just trying to be growth oriented, challenging yourself, like motivating yourself. So I feel like we probably listen to similar things online.
We probably do.
But I don't know much about him. So he got messed up, and now he's a motivational guy.
Yeah, and he was there. He was at this event, and you know, it was like a 3-day thing where they had a bunch of all these Navy SEALs, and they had a bunch of just veterans there, and motivational speakers. They had like a police officer. They had a lady who is also another motivational speaker. All these people, by the way, are coming on the podcast.
Ooh,
yeah, which is very cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very exciting. But I don't remember where I was going with this.
You were talking about.
Oh, I was talking to this guy.
Yeah.
Who does a podcast, and he was at the event. He was a speaker as well. Just a normal guy though, and him and I were talking about podcasting, and I was telling him about when I first started the podcast. Like I work at GM, so working on the line, I put my headphones in and I just go about my business. I put parts on cars. Yeah. It's very monotonous. Like it's just the same thing repeatedly over and over and over all day long. You don't have to talk to anybody if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Like it's just you're in your own zone. And so I kind of got into the rhythm of that and the habit of that, and I just stopped talking to people.
Yeah.
And so it's like talking really is a skill that like you have to keep doing, because if you don't do it, you'll lose it.
That's absolutely right.
And so like by doing the podcast, I realized immediately how bad I was at talking. Like I thought it'd be easy, like watching all these big podcasters. I'm like, that looks so easy. I could do that.
Yeah.
No, it's very difficult. Like I would sit down with somebody and literally 3 minutes in, I'd be like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And
it's like, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Like someone had talked about, I ran into someone in the UP, and they were talking about how they're back in the dating game, and he had gone on a date with a person like that. And it's like, you know, sometimes those people, maybe they're just not like good in that moment with like new people, new situation. And maybe if you were friends with them for like a year, you would have super interesting, deep conversations. But regardless, you're working with people where in that moment, if you've never met them before, you got to get them to open up, talk about themselves, and not just answer questions like one word answers, but to like keep going.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I kind of remember the turning point for me was when I just decided that instead of having like asking these big like formulated like very important questions, I'm just going to talk to them. Like I'm just going to talk to them like, hey, so where are you from? Are you from Lansing? Cool. Where'd you go to school? Like, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Ease into it, wedge in.
Yeah. Warm them up, and then they start talking and get comfortable, and then you have something to go off of. Once they start telling you things like, I don't know, I like video games. Oh, cool. Well, what kind of video games? I don't know. I don't even know. But
I feel like you probably also, in this role, not only have you been working on your like the art of conversation, but you probably are learning a lot of things because like you're talking to people and they're teaching you things. And how many people have you talked to now? I know you've had some repeats.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, total, I actually had over 114 episodes. There was a few episodes that didn't air, but
why didn't they air?
Just recording issues.
Oh, gotcha.
Like I interviewed Mayor Andy Shore. He was on the podcast and it didn't record.
No.
It recorded video but didn't record audio.
No.
And I reached back out to him and they were like, "Yeah, he's busy." And I was like, "Whatever."
That's such a bummer.
It was a bummer, but it was a huge learning experience for me.
Yeah.
To do sound checks.
That happened to me on when someone brought me in to talk to me. They knew nothing about 517 Living, so I was like talking like to someone who they went into it being like 517 Living, so cool, it's my favorite. And then I started talking about like the website calendar, and they're like, "You have a website?" And like they didn't know anything about it. But to be fair,
I didn't really realize you had a website. I know you have one now, but like when I interviewed you last time, I really didn't know that much about 517.
That's okay, and I shouldn't even said that because so many people don't know that I have a website. And
you also have an Instagram.
I do have an Instagram
and a YouTube.
I do.
I didn't know you had a YouTube until like this year.
Well, I suck at Instagram and YouTube and Twitter.
You have a Twitter?
Yeah, I have Twitter. I'm like, why do I even have this? I should get rid of it. But it's an embarrassment, really. It's an embarrassment to me and my brand that if anyone goes and looks at my Twitter, they're just going to be like, this lady doesn't know what she's doing.
That's
like,
funny.
What does she even have a Twitter for?
That's how my Twitter is too.
Yeah, it's definitely neglected. But am I running out of time?
No, you're good. We're good. I was just looking at he switched the camera, so I was just looking.
I don't even know where I was going with it. But,
you were talking about Twitter and YouTube and
that he didn't record me. Like we went through a whole I was like telling him all about 517 Living.
Was it a podcast?
Yeah.
Was it a new podcast?
So he did he had done something before, but he did the same thing to me that you did to Andy Shore. But it's okay. I did actually record with him again.
I'm actually glad that the one with Andy Shore didn't record because it was a half hour.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I literally looked at, actually, that was the episode. I looked at my phone, and I'm like 3 minutes in, this is going to be rough. And so I just started asking dumb questions. So, like, what does a mayor do? I literally asked him that.
I don't know what do you think. Yeah. No, that's good. That's a good question, actually.
I mean, it's a good question, but...
What does a mayor do? A lot of people don't know that.
No, and I didn't. I genuinely didn't know what a mayor did.
I won't. Never mind. I was gonna go into a whole like thing where people would realize how stupid I am, but I'm there with you right up there. There was something though. There was somewhere else. The thing that made it bad, and maybe he probably won't listen to this because he's got his own podcast to listen to. But the second
he just listens to himself all day.
What made it bad and worse than yours is that. So we had the whole podcast. I told him everything about 517 Living, was all animated, had my coffee, and went through it. He didn't record it. Let me know. So I went back to re-record it, and he still didn't know anything about 517 Living.
Oh.
He literally, at that second time, was the time where he's like, "You have a website?" I'm like, "I talked to you for like an hour."
I'm gonna take a guess.
No, don't. I don't want to get in trouble. Don't do it. You know.
I know.
I know you know.
I know.
Because that's how I found out about your show.
Okay.
Was from doing that one.
Okay. I thought you found out about it from Chamber. Okay.
We won't go any further. You know what I'm talking about now,
I know
right?
what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever happened? Did she still train you? I thought she moved, but...
Chamber is... Yeah, she moved. No, she doesn't. She's not my trainer anymore, but I actually just talked to her today. We were saying we need to connect.
Is she doing good?
Yeah, she's doing great.
Cool.
She's not in like doing fitness for a career anymore. So she's not at that place that was doing that podcast anymore, but she is doing wonderful. She is, I don't know. She's thriving.
Awesome.
She's happy.
That's awesome. I'm happy for her. She's an awesome person.
Yeah.
I would like to have her back sometime.
She's a very positive person, and she's been through a lot. I think she's at, I don't want to like speak for her, but I think she would agree that she's after everything she's gone through in so many different ways in her life, like she's now at this point in her life where she's like, I am gonna find out who I am and what my values are, and like figure out things that make sense for me in my own way.
Yeah, that's important. It's really important, especially to do it when you're young.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a lot of people, they wait till they're in their 40s, they're married, they have kids, and then they realize, I haven't been living the life I wanted to live, and I don't even know who I am, so I'm going to get a divorce, I'm going to uproot my family, and then it's a mess. And then it's all that childhood trauma comes out, and yeah, I don't know. That's awesome. That's awesome for her.
Yeah, I'm happy for her.
Yeah. Where are we at? We're at an hour.
Anything else we should touch on?
I don't know.
Tell me in your growth journey, I've been seeing like you've been doing more like fitness stuff, trying to like challenge yourself and like get up early and all this stuff. And since you've kind of started doing that type of stuff, what are the top 2 things that have been like the most impactful for you?
Well, I think getting up, for one, is the hardest part because I have to be at work at 6:30 in the morning. So in order to get up and work out, I have to wake up at 3:50 in the morning. And that allows me to work out for an hour, or at least to do stuff for an hour.
3:50. What time do you go to bed?
Around 8 o'clock. Well, no. That's a lie. 8:30. I try to go to bed between 8:30 and 9 generally. So,
okay. Good for you.
Yeah, I try to stick to that. Sometimes, like if it's like 9:30, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be hurting tomorrow.
That's a really smart thing to do. Going to bed earlier, getting up earlier.
Well, that's one thing that this Roger Up event did for me. It was like 3 days of just, we're gonna like beat you down and like teach you all this stuff, like how to make your life better. And it's not any of that like motivational bullshit that you typically hear, like you can do anything that you put your mind to if you just, whatever. It's like you need to work hard. You need to take ownership of your life. And this is how you do it. You need to have a routine. You need to have a schedule. You need to like be on top of things. You need to take notes. You need to get after life, essentially.
Be more intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for me, that was like a big kick in the butt because like I had been for the longest time, putting podcasts out, I was just grinding on podcasts, and it's like I wasn't even making headway, it seemed like. And I wasn't even really happy. Like, I was happy doing them, but like, I don't know, I just wasn't happy. And so by going to this event and just kind of like reaffirming everything that I already knew and putting it into play, like I started waking up early. I started doing 20 minutes of cardio, which helps because when you first wake up that early in the morning, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to move. And so like the first 10 minutes I spend like, man, this sucks. And then the last 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, I feel good and I can get after it. And so I usually get after it like the last 10 minutes. I usually just do like the elliptical or the bike. Well, this morning I did the bike, but usually the elliptical. And then I do 100 push-ups, 100 body weight squats, and then a 3-minute plank. And then I spend 10 minutes journaling and 10 minutes reading, then 10 minutes journaling. And
what are you reading?
Right now I'm reading The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, which is an amazing book to read.
I've heard of that book. I've never read it, though.
You should definitely read it.
The War of Art. Okay.
In fact, you can have it after I'm done.
The War of Art?
The War of Art. The war, like going to war. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. It's an interesting book because Stephen Pressfield talks about resistance and what resistance is, and essentially resistance is like it's your enemy. Like everything that's stopping you from doing what you want to do is called resistance. Like I don't want to wake up early. That's a resistance.
Yeah.
I don't want to take notes. I don't want to journal. That's resistance.
Right.
I don't want to sit down and write my book, or I don't want to do this because I want to do something else. That's resistance, and you got to fight that.
Yeah.
And
that's what the book's about. It's like how to fight it, or it's just
it's about how to fight it. It's about like kind of putting a face to resistance, like what it really is.
And that does sound interesting because that's something I definitely struggle with.
In different forms, like resistance comes in different forms. Like, it could be that, you have to make an option. You have to make a decision between options of like, I'm going to go do this or I'm going to go do this. Which one would benefit me the most? Which one would give me the most like instant gratification? Because generally if it's instant gratification, it's not good.
Right.
You know? So it's a really good book for like people who are creative and artists. And I don't know. It's a really good book to read in the morning because like I don't want to get up and then I read it and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's what me not wanting to get out of bed was. It was resistance.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
me.
I've been trying to listen to stuff more in like on Audible and stuff. So I'll go look that up.
Yeah, it's an easy book to read. It's not very long. Unfortunately, it's taken me a while to get through it because I only read for 10 minutes. So I read that book in the morning, and then the evenings before bed, I read another book.
What's the other book?
The other book I'm reading right now is called Roger Up.
Okay.
It's that guy's book.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
I'm reading that right now. But I have some other books from like Jason Redman I'm going to be reading. He talks about like his life and overcoming. One's called Overcome, and then the other one is called The Trident. So
Interesting. I'll look these up.
but I would say like the two things that have helped me the most is I would say journaling for sure has helped me a lot because it helps put things into perspective.
Yeah.
Like, and then so what I do is I had a friend reach out to me the other day. He's like, how do you journal? Like, what do you do? And he's like, I've been wanting to do it, I just don't know how. And I'm like, honestly, you could just write whatever you want. But what I do is I write my goals, 5 goals for professional, 5 professional goals, 5 personal goals, and then 5 physical goals.
For the day?
For it could be for the day, it could be for the week, it could be for just a lifetime, it could be a ridiculous goal. It could be anything. And then what I do after that is I take at least 1 or 2 from each category and I write what I can do today to forward any like one of those goals.
That's smart. That's a good way to growth-oriented way to start your day.
Yeah. And then I take a picture of it, of my goals, and then I like review it at work and stuff. And I'm always constantly thinking about it. Like, what can I do to further that? Or like today, one of my goals was like schedule. I think I wrote like schedule 1 or 2 people for the podcast. And immediately, first thing in the morning, that's what I did is I reached out to people and scheduled them. And then I actually scheduled more. And then I had people reach out to me wanting to do the podcast. And it's like, okay, you're like, this is something that like, once you start doing it, it can change. Like it moves the needle.
Yeah. No, just starting the day with intention and that focus.
Yeah.
I mean, and since you're, working out in the morning, that changes your brain, so you're starting off with a healthier brain and then you're like action plans ready. That's a recipe for success for sure.
Well, it's not even like it's not even like I'm working out to work out, like to get in shape. It's more or less just doing something to move your body to wake up. And that's what's important. The hardest thing that I do in the morning though is I've been taking cold showers, and that's hard.
I've tried that before, and I'm like, not worth it. I'll have poor health, whatever.
My wife's like, you're crazy. I am not doing that. I hate being cold. I'm like, okay. Have you? Well, it's hard to know if you've had any benefits from it because you're doing all these other things. Yes.
But you think yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. One thing I've noticed is that, so what I do is I keep the phone right next to the shower. So I wash up. It's kind of cold, but kind of warm at the same time. I wash up, rinse off, and then I set my timer for 1 minute and I fling it down to the cold, as cold as it'll go. And I stand there and I'm like, and then by 30 seconds, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Okay. So you can do 1 minute.
I do 1 minute in the front, and then I reset the timer, and I do 1 minute in the back.
Okay, as long as, I could maybe get down with that. As long as the whole shower wasn't cold.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
I don't know, though. It seems a little brutal.
One thing I've noticed, though, by doing it is it, like, I don't really know, like, all the scientific, like, benefits of it. I know that there's a lot to it, but it helps my mind. Like, it helps me, like, feel like, okay, like, I can accomplish the day. Like, I feel good.
Yeah.
Like, you feel happy and, like, just...
I wish I could remember. I was just watching or reading something about that, and there was one significant health benefit that popped out to me that I was like, wow, really, that's really worth it. But I can't remember what it was.
It helps like with losing weight too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like it does something with like brown fat and turns it in. Yeah, I don't know the specifics. Can't remember.
All right, I'll give it a try. I'm gonna wait till after the event. I have enough stress right now. I'll try it next with my new renewed life starting Monday.
What are you gonna do?
What
are you gonna do with your life now?
I know. I'll have to find a new purpose. I was just
a Christmas event.
Yeah, right. I was just telling my mom because I was walking with her today. I'm like Monday. It's like a fresh start. I'm just gonna feel like I have all the time and brain energy in the world. So I think, which is kind of like a dramatic way of looking at it. Like, it's not that consuming. I'm hosting like a super laid back picnic basically. But in my mind, it's like, whoa, this like giant thing. But yeah, I think that I can see, and this is what I was really talking to her about, but then I lost my focus. I could see, how since it is an uncomfortable process for me to do this event stuff, I think that is one reason that I have continued to do it, because I know it's like good for me. Because I'm like, this is so uncomfortable that I know it must be really good for me to do this. So,
yeah. Do you think that you'll do any public speaking at the event?
Probably not. I have Joe Walker is gonna be there.
Okay.
He's gonna do some of like the
MCing
public stuff. I mean, I haven't really thought about it. I mean, I could do a whole like, thank you everyone for coming to my event. It has been such an honor. I'm not really. I don't have anything to say really. Like, put your events on my calendar. Slam down the mic. I don't know.
Well, I think that's one thing a lot of people appreciate about you and what you do is that you're not out there like, hey, look at me. This is what I'm doing. You're just, you don't even really have any pictures on Facebook. So, like, it's not like you're doing this for self-love. You're doing it for everybody else, for the community.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I think I'm definitely not doing it for recognition. I would say I think maybe my purpose in life, like what I find I'm drawn to, is just like helping people like get the most out of things and like optimize their life. And like when I work with like kids, like if I have a kid living in my home with me through like the Safe Families program, like I'm like, while they're with me, I'm gonna read to them, I'm gonna enrich them, I'm gonna give them good food, I'm gonna teach them about all these experiences, I'm gonna like the last kid who was living with us, we learned sign language, and it was just like, I think that just brings me joy to help other people grow. And so that's where probably I get my kicks out of this, is I'm like, I see it helping people, it helps me, and I'm like, that's makes it all fun and worth it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. This was a lot more fun than the first time.
Thank you. Oh, what was wrong with first time?
No, you're only episode 36 or something, so I was still learning. It was part of the process.
I thought it was good.
It was actually a good episode, but
I was wearing gray though against your gray curtains, and so when I get my picture this time, I would like it overtake the numbers of our first episode.
It definitely will.
Perfect.
Cool.
So how are real quick? Your brother's like, get me out of here.
He's like, I gotta pee.
Start drinking this whiskey. Oh, do you have? Okay.
No, I don't.
Cut it. Let's
no,
go.
we're good. Go
I don't
ahead.
even remember what I was gonna say.
You were gonna ask me a question.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were.
Hey, it was great seeing you guys, and I hope you have some of this whiskey later.
You sound like you want some.
I know. Why do I keep on? I'm like, you whiskey. Why is there whiskey there? They didn't hear that earlier though, because I wasn't being recorded earlier.
Yeah, no, there's whiskey in the room. But I actually haven't drank it with any other guests, so maybe we'll have you back and drink some whiskey.
Sounds good.
Do you like whiskey?
I do.
Do you really?
I do.
Wow. Do you like Buffalo Trace?
I don't think I've had that kind.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
He still hasn't offered me any whiskey. No. I'm just kidding. I can't drink anyway.
You got to drive.
I got to drive.
Got to be responsible.
I am
Can't have you go to jail before the event.
I know, and that would be documented too. They'd be like, "Wait a minute,
Oh,
Sarah,
speaking
at the end,
speaking
drink."
of documenting, real quick, people thought you were gonna have booze at the event. What was that about?
I don't know what I'm allowed to divulge, but I'll tell you. I'll just tell you what I was told. So, I don't think I can get in trouble for this. I'm trying to think if there's any way legally. Okay, I won't leave any names in it. How about that?
Okay.
Someone who represented Hawk Island County Park reached out to me and said, "Okay, little lady, we have gotten word from the local authorities, LPD, that they said numerous people were forwarding them like email threads that said like, yeah, it's fine if you bring alcohol, just like everyone can bring alcohol, it just can't be marked." And they were making it sound like there was this big conversation going on that everybody was going to have like undercover alcohol at the party. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, he kind of got the impression, the guy who came to me about this, that like I was like planning some like real
gosh.
like, don't tell anybody, it's a huge party kegger, everybody bring your weed. It's like, no, I'm like, this is like super family friendly. Like
It's a complete
why
opposite.
would I bring on the liability of a big kegger in a park or whatever? But I have a suspicion. Well, there's two things. I think maybe somebody had, like one of the vendors or something had like told their friends that, but why would anyone forward that to the police? I don't know. But apparently a bunch of people forwarded stuff to them. I have a theory that someone who's feeling a little butthurt was like, I'll try to like sabotage this party. But I don't know. Who knows? Who cares?
Who knows?
They didn't succeed, so whatever.
Well, I liked your response to it. You're like, apparently somebody.
Concerned citizens. Yeah. Anyway, it'll all work out. There will be, I will give it another, like, a disclaimer. No booze at the party, people. Hot cocoa, tea, coffee, smoothies. That's all you can drink. And water. Or whatever you bring that doesn't have alcohol in it.
Cool.
And no drugs.
No drugs. Don't do drugs.
We don't need drugs.
Nah.
Anyway.
No.
That's all I got to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. This was fun. Thank you.
Yes.